seconds here. Milligan will be at the bottom of your screen. Zitzer to the far side. Blake with the quick drop again, sacked. Number 96 in on the play, Vince Shrema. Timeout on the field, called by Norristown. That was a 2nd down and 6. Eagles lose 4 on the play, brings up 3rd and 10. And again, this is what has happened to Norristown all year, Walt. They get themselves in 3rd and long, and it just is very, very difficult with their offensive game plan to convert. And you could just see the confidence growing in Chris Blake. He was running that 2-minute offense, that quick offense, and they were coming out with the short passing game. I mean, just really, you have to have a lot of confidence in your quarterback and your offensive line, all your offensive players, to be able to do that. And it looks like that's the way Norristown was going to choose to move the ball. And then a play like that, Shrema, great play, but it looked like a missed block there on the Norristown offensive line. And now, obviously, they're in 4-down territory, but they're going to have to come up with something special, even to get the 10 in 2 downs. Eagles have had their opportunities today. They, in the first half, completed a long pass play, which gave them 1st and goal inside the 10-yard line, got it down to the 1-yard line, couldn't punch it in on 4th and 1. And that's made a big difference in this ball game. The first score of the game coming on the first play of the 4th quarter when Council Rock superstar Alex Wade pounded it in from the 4-yard line. They missed the extra point attempt, and that's where we stand now. It's 6-0. This time they send Josiah Purry out to the left. The other receiver's out right. Milligan's got the ball, tries to elude a tackler. He's out of bounds, picked up about 5 yards, maybe 6 on the play. It's going to bring up 4th down for the Eagles, and of course they'll need to go for it here with only 1:40 to play in the game. And I have seen Don Milligan catch that ball and spin upfield on a lot of people, but he just cannot do it today. Joe Coleman made the initial hit for the Indians that time, and they are just solid, really keep the receiver in their sights. They're playing smart defense, knowing what situation they're in right now. The important thing is to just not allow any yards after the catch. Brings up 4th and 6 from the Eagle 30-yard line. Big play here. They come with everything. Blake steps up. He's got to get it off. He hands it off to Swittenberg. Can he go around the outside? Boy, I'll tell you, there's the story of the game. Alex Wade was right there, the star running back for the Council Rock Indians. Alex Wade brings down Troy Swittenberg. Blake was in the grasp there, was able to hand it off to Troy Swittenberg, but Eagles fail to convert on 4th down with 1:30 to play. They turn over possession to the Indians at their 22-yard line, and that's the game, barring a big mistake here by Council Rock. Yeah, it was a play illustrated the many positives for the Eagles. Great strength by Blake and great awareness by Troy Swittenberg, but Alex Wade with an athletic play to sprint down Troy Swittenberg as he tried to get to the outside. The Indians call time here with 1:30 to go in this game. Certainly all they want to do here is protect the ball. The Eagles, I believe, have 2 timeouts remaining, Walt. And the Indians have protected the ball this game when they haven't put it up in the air. They haven't even come close to putting the ball on the ground. The only fumble really this game being Norristown, and they recovered their own fumble that time. So again, as we said, a clean game and a great defensive game, as you would expect from the 6-0 score. Interesting that these two teams in 2 consecutive years would have such low-scoring contests. Last year, the Rock wins 3-0. This year, they're certainly poised to win 6-0. And it's at that point in the season where your teams are really improving, they're really starting to come together, and you really start to see the coaching coming forward. And you get a couple of teams that are really disciplined defensively and maybe don't have the most explosive offenses, but good offenses, and this is going to be the result, especially without a lot of mistakes. Again, we want to pass along our congratulations to all those recognized today on Homecoming Saturday. The winners in the float competition, the homecoming king and queen. Matt Verbit, the handoff to Wade. Wade protects the ball, cuts it up inside, picks up a few on the play. Eagle captain Garvin Stewart calls time with 1:24 to go to bring up 2nd down for Council Rock.
And a final thank you to the Norristown Area School District for bringing you today's action here at Roosevelt Field. We always want to thank Mr. Tony Koya, Director of Communications. We want to thank Mr. Sam Galbraith for producing today's show. We also want to give congratulations to Garrett Hickman for directing our program and even pitching in and doing a little bit of the camera work himself, ably assisted by Azad Shirozian. As always, thanks to Greg Fry, our statistician. And a special thank you to Jill Joyce for handling the halftime commentary here. You and I used to be able to do that, Walt, when we were students and knew who these folks were, but much better to have a student doing it these days than you or me.
Well, that's when we were hip and we knew what was going on. Nowadays, who knows?
Wade, bulls his way, touchdown. Man, is that strength.
That's a stamp right there. Boy,
wow.
That is a statement if I've ever seen one. Alex Wade, you look at his numbers, you think he's a glamour back, but he is a powerhouse. And that was the run right there. I mean, sure, Norristown missed some tackles there, but Wade certainly helped out by running right through them. And I don't know, second half spinach or something, but he just got stronger and stronger as this game went on.
He sure did. 18 yards on that carry, makes it 12-0. The set is down, a much better kick this time on the extra point, and it's good. Justin Shaker that time able to convert, gives his team a 13-0 lead with 1:17 to play. And boy, Alex Wade really showed us something in this second half. What it tells me is size matters. He's a big boy, and he's got some ability.
Sure, size matters, and it matters over 48 minutes in a contest like this. I mean, the Eagles looked like they had every bit the better line coming out at the start of this game, but it just wears you down and wears you down, and even 12 pounds a man is going to matter, especially when you got a big guy running behind them.
Folks, don't forget, we've got several more home games here coming up at Roosevelt Field in what is certainly the season of the home game. The next game is Friday, October 31st, a Halloween contest at 7:30 when the Eagles take on the North Penn Knights on senior night. We also then have a non-league contest scheduled for Saturday, November the 8th at 7 p.m. That's here against Central Dauphin East. And then we expect to be here on Thanksgiving Day, which should be a lot of fun against local rival Plymouth Whitemarsh. And it'll be fun to be here on a Thursday morning in November as the onside kick taken by one of the up men for Norristown. That's number 37, Jim Davis. So the Eagles have 1:12 left to score 13 points. A daunting task.
Certainly going to require a quick strike off the bat. They obviously don't have the time to run the ball down the field, but I think right now it's just a matter of 1:13. You get Chris Blake some more experience running this 2-minute offense. You have a couple timeouts left, and you want to put some points on the board. You certainly don't want to be shut out twice in a row by the same team. Don't want to be shut out ever, but especially not by the same team 2 years in a row.
Triple wide receivers right. Blake steps up into the pocket, is hit as he releases the ball, intercepted by number 30, Bedison. He takes it downfield. Garvin Stewart, good pursuit, brings him down.
Yeah, there's two guys you hope, if you're a Norristown fan, you'll see meet on the other side of the ball. Garvin Stewart playing safety. At that time, though, had to bring Bedison down after the pick, and Chris Blake just trying to make something happen in the grasp of the defender. Just lobbed it out there, and Bedison jumped on it.
Can't fault Blake there. He stepped up into the pocket, was hit hard as he was releasing the ball. Council Rock, a solid defensive team. Bedison stepped up, made the play. He almost had an interception earlier in this game. Had one hit him in the hands, dropped to the turf. But he didn't miss that one, folks. 56 seconds to go in this contest. And Council Rock doing what you would expect with quarterback Matt Verbit dropping to one knee. The clock will wind down.
And boy, Matt Verbit, the sophomore quarterback, has been impressive today. In a game like this where you're really being frustrated offensively, I would think the Indians struggling at the beginning of this game, he kept his team right there and really kept them moving down the field. I mean, when they needed it, they went to Alex Wade, but Matt Verbit came up with a couple big plays in this game, and the first one is what gave them their go-ahead score.
And this will be it. Verbit goes down again. 16 seconds to go in the ball game, and you hate to see that. Some confrontation down on the line of scrimmage. Norristown players with some frustration there. They just need to walk away here a little bit. The ball game's over. And there's 2 seconds, 1 second. We didn't see any timeout call. That's the ball game. Or did we? Nope, game's over. Council Rock wins this contest. Roger Grove was out onto the field before the game was over. And I think a good move by Roger to let his players know this is no time to let your frustration show that way. He settled things down. The final result, 13-0. The Eagles lose here at home on homecoming Saturday by a score of 13-0 to the Indians of Council Rock. Walt and I will be back in just a moment to recap the game for you. Well, folks, in a grinded-out contest, the Eagles come up short once again here at home, falling today to the Indians of Council Rock by a score of 13-0. And Walt, through 3 quarters, a scoreless game and certainly a well-fought defensive battle on both sides of the ball.
Absolutely. It was a game for the defenses, and it was so even. Looks like one big play on each side. They had the horse running backs on both sides, and not a lot of mistakes at all. But it was that one big play that Council Rock capitalized after, and Norristown couldn't capitalize after theirs. And
I think with the scoring occurring in the 4th quarter here, perhaps the size advantage that the Indians had maybe benefited them later in the ball game.
Yeah, Norristown is bigger this year on both sides, on both lines, than they have been in some past years. But Council Rock was bigger, and I think eventually it wore them down, and the thing that really wears you down is when you have that line coming at you, and then you have the big back behind them where you have to gang tackle constantly. It really wears down all 11 guys on your defense, and I really think that's what turned the tide in the Indians' favor today.
And with both touchdowns for Council Rock is their junior tailback, Alex Wade, pulled in from the 4-yard line for the first score, and then an 18-yard carry to seal the victory, a victory that was certainly well in hand anyhow, but that second run really was a testimony to the outstanding ability of that young man.
Yeah, that's what's carried them to a 5-2 record in the conference, that type of running, and that's the type of running that allows them to beat the better teams and even the bigger teams in this conference. That was a real statement, I think, for the Indians to say, we're coming out of your place with a win, and we're going into other places, and we're going to win. And Alex Wade, with his 152 yards today, lower than his average. He had a 5 yards per carry today, but really was the workhorse. He's their main guy.
Bright spots for the Eagles. I mean, they played well for 3 quarters. They come up short again. Their record falls to 2-6 overall, 2-5 league. Certainly the toughest season Norristown's experienced in a long, long time. What bright things can Roger Grove point to as he sends his Eagles into battle next week?
I think it's the fact that his line really matched up well with a bigger defensive line. His offensive line, that is, really matched up well, but it was only for 3 quarters. But you have to look at it and say, hey guys, you can go play with anybody. Their passing game started to come together more and more, as it does every week. They started to mix in some short passes well. We saw the long arm of Chris Blake today, and I was impressed with the defense for most of the game. I mean, Alex Wade is ripping people up all over this conference, and I think the Eagles really held them in check until it got to the end of the game, and there was just a lot of wear and tear on that defense.
I think Troy Swittenberg played his normal outstanding ball game at the tailback position, but my offensive star today for Norristown is Don Milligan. I think Don Milligan really had a breakout game today, made some great receptions. Of course, you have to credit Chris Blake at the same time because somebody had to deliver the ball to Milligan, but I think Milligan really showed us something, especially in that first half. A nice interception, 2 nice interceptions, and a big reception, which was Norristown's biggest play of the ball game.
Yeah, they've been saving Don Milligan, just putting him out there in the cornerback position. He's been doing a tremendous job, as shown with his 2 interceptions today. But with the injury to Paul Pranzati early in the game, bring Milligan in to fill that wide receiver spot. And then once he's in there, they started throwing to him. And he has that experience at receiver position. He's got great hands and really excellent technique for a wide receiver, and gives Chris Blake a good target to go to, whether he's the main target or whether he's just a secondary target and Chris Blake needs an out.
Folks, a tough game here at Roosevelt Field. I hope you stayed with us the whole time, enjoyed the homecoming festivities. That's always a bright spot of any season here at Norristown High School. With Walt Fry, I'm Jeff Brandon. We want to thank you for joining us. We've got several more home games. We hope you'll stay tuned, and we hope you'll come out here to Roosevelt Field to support the Eagles in person. Thanks for joining us.